All right, what's up, guys? My name's Josh, and this is my channel, Bad at Tactics. I'm going to be studying tactics to try and get better at chess. So here goes. I just figured I would do a little for myself so that I could, one, talk out loud without feeling crazy, and two, kind of go back and track my progress and see how I do. So I just made a new Lichess account right here. I have, as you can see, done no tactics yet. Puzzle rating is 1500. So I'm going to get started. Goes. So immediately I can see that this rook is almost out of squares. The rook on g4. I have this bishop cutting off 2/3 of its squares, and then also the hanging. So my first instinct is to go h5. Also, I'd like to point out that my goal is every time I do this to calculate out to the very end these tactics so that I can work on my calculation skills and board visualization as well, because it's also crucial. So things that I look for, tactics. Again, I'm not good at it, so you don't have to take any of my advice, and I'm sure a lot of you who are good at chess will listen to me and disagree with most of what I say, but that's fine. I'm learning. It's a learning experience, so no big deal. But things that I always look for are hanging pieces, pieces that don't have many squares, and forcing moves such as this, or checks, that sort of thing. Those are lines that you can really easily just calculate out without having to do much. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking h5 cannot come to either g5 or h4, as this bishop on e7 controls both of those squares. So that leaves only one square for it to go. After h5, it would go, the rook on 4 would go to g3. From there, I can pin the rook to the bishop and most likely win the exchange. This rook is fine. It's protected by both the king and the pawn. I don't have any other threats, really. If the rook was to capture on g6, I would have rook takes, king takes, and he would just be down the whole rook. So I don't think we have to calculate that out. And there we go. So we win the exchange. First one. Okay. So with this one, right away, I see the queen is isolated, hanging. Also see that this is a hanging piece. So hanging pieces are going to be tactics from what I have gathered. So we have this discovered attack on the queen. So from there, what I want to do is I want to find the best place for my knight to go to utilize this discovered attack. So in addition to that, I also see that I can attack this bishop the same time that I attack the queen, be it by going to e4, knight e4, or knight b5. So both of those are going to attack the bishop on d6, while simultaneously attacking the queen on a5. So now I have to choose between my two candidate moves, either knight b5 or knight e4, and discuss the pluses and minuses of this. So, there we go. The queen can come back, I see, to defend the bishop, either here or here. So I'm thinking this move is going to be out right here. Knight e4 does not seem like a good move, just because the queen has two ways of defending it. So I think that narrows it down to knight b5. So if knight b5, queen is under attack. It can't go to c7 to protect the bishop because the knight is controlling that square. So I'm assuming it's going to, the queen would either, see, queen takes d2, and then we have queen recaptures or knight recaptures, or the queen, so knight b5, queen takes b5, bishop takes b5. I think those are basically the only moves for black. So there we go. Yeah, queen recaptures. All right, awesome. 2 in a row, looking good. Okay, so a couple things, a lot of things going on here, really. We have a bunch of hanging pieces. They have a bunch of hanging pieces. Well, this is soon to be hanging once I capture this. My rook is under attack, under fire by this battery with these 2 rooks. So if I don't do something about that, I'm probably going to lose some rooks, and then I also have checks. This piece is hanging, as is this piece. So if I move this piece drops. So I'm assuming we're going to have to do something. This is going to be something where we have to kind of seize the initiative, take charge. So what I'm thinking right away is I want to get this attack on my rook gone. So rook takes a3, rook takes a3, and then from there I can take the knight, and if the rook takes the bishop, then I can recapture here, and this rook's no longer there, and I have a passed pawn. So unless they do something about it, so say I do rook takes a3, rook takes a3, f takes e6. If rook takes e3, then e takes f7. And then if rook takes h3, I think I have mate with f to 8 queening. So I think that's pretty forcing line. I don't really see anything else, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Perfect. Okay. So now I can take, and I guess that's where it ends. Let's see what the engine has to say while it loads. So it's still loading here. Yeah, it looks like they're going to recapture. So if there, if here, yeah, that's going to be checkmate. Okay. Awesome. 3 for 3. Don't expect this to last very long. So. All right, a couple things. I notice a lot of light squared weaknesses around black's king. I noticed that the rook is hanging. Also, I see our rook's hanging. All right, let's see what we have here. What sort of thing we can go. So initially, I'm seeing that at any point we can defend the rook with the move f3, connecting that bishop to the rook. I don't know how useful that is. That also is with tempo on the bishop on e4. I don't know if that helps at all. We have a check here. The king escapes to h8. I don't think anything happens after that. So I'm not really seeing anything forcing this stage right here. So I can attack the queen, but the queen has tons of spaces to go. Queen's fine. So I don't think that's going to do anything. F3, chasing this bishop away. Where does this bishop go? It's got a couple squares. From there, I have this file open. Does opening that file do anything for me, though? I'm not entirely sure. So I would like to be able to get to this square with the queen so I could fork the rook and king, but the queen's also protecting it, so I don't see that being a possibility. So what weaknesses can we exploit? So queen, let's just look at this. Queen e6, king h8. I'm not seeing anything here. Oh, all right. I see what it is. Okay, so if I check the king and he escapes, I can then grab this bishop because black can't recapture on e4 because the queen is hanging. So that would be what the tactic is. All right, good stuff. So we're at, our rating is 1995. So I'm assuming these are going to get a little bit tougher, and eventually I will be unable to handle both of these. Okay, so again, hanging pieces. We see this knight hanging right here on f2. We also see the rook is undefended on h6. I see that we have a discovered attack where we can attack both, either here or here. Clearly, knight takes f4 is met with knight recaptures, and we lose a piece. So that makes no sense. So let's take a look at knight g8. And rook's going to have to get out of the way. We also don't have to worry about the rook attacking this knight because this is taken with check. And if the king drops down to here, we can simply retreat the rook and protect the knight. Or actually, the knight is going to be protected by the bishop here, so it doesn't matter. We can just move the rook wherever we want. So there we go. That is that. Awesome. Times. Okay. Let's take a look at this one right here. The queen moved, so my eye is immediately directed to that. It looks like it doesn't have a lot of squares. We'll come to that. I just want to make sure there's nothing else over here. This piece is hanging. These are defended. This is defended. I have this right here, but I think I'm going to focus my attention over to the queen on h4. So we have right now, let's see, if we were to this bishop, the light squared bishop is controlling this diagonal. This pawn has this knight has this square. So let's take a look at the squares these knights are actually controlling. So we have here and here, here, here. We have this square here. We have a discovered attack with check, and it's protected along here. So essentially we can say that we're controlling all of the squares. So we need something that can attack this. So my first instinct is to bring the pawn to g5, but the queen will drop back there. But does that matter? Okay, so queen goes there, king up to e7, and then queen. Can the queen get out for the rook to come over up here? I think we'll lose a pawn and a rook, and for the queen. So let's take a look. Let's do this line. So g5, queen takes h6, check, king e7. Where does the queen go? From right here. Queen can't go here. Queen can't go here. Queen can't go here because of this. Queen can't go here, here, or here. Can't go here. Can't come back here because the pawn will be on g5. Can't go here because we have check. So I don't see an escape for this queen. So I think that queen is basically trapped. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Goodbye. Boom. All right, this is going to be my last one. I'm going to call it. I have work in the morning. So this is a bishop sack. This is the first thing that I learned. First little trick I learned. So I played a lot of these. So I should know what the weakness is right away. So the thing is with the bishop sacrifice, what's going to happen is once the king recaptures, the knight comes to, I mean, the knight's always going to come to this square, and then you're going to have the queen coming here. So you have this knight and this queen working together. And knights and queens are tremendously powerful together. They work because knights will sit on a dark square but control light squares. So you can utilize them together in tandem to control just tons of space. So they're a really powerful combination, especially when it comes to mating, from what I've seen. So what happens typically is I recapture, check. If I come back here and queen comes to h4, it's pretty much all she wrote. I like to have this pawn right here, so that if I do some sort of rook move, it's a checkmate in 5. It's a forced mate. You'll see that all the time. So you have to recapture. If you don't recapture, you start getting all sorts of gnarly discovered attacks. The knight still comes down here. The queen follows. So even if you go to kick the knight away with a pawn move like this, you have the queen comes. If it takes it, you just have bishop back here and discover check. The king retreats, and the queen comes down here and mates. So that's a no-go. So it's almost forced to recapture most of the time. One of the things that a common theme is blocking, using this pawn to block. So let's just run through what's going to happen if I were to recapture, or when I do recapture, because I've kind of already made up my mind, although I probably shouldn't. But h2, king takes h2, then knight to g4. And now I can either retreat to h1, which is terrible because the queen comes in with tempo, check, king to g1, mate. So that one's out. King to g1. Again, we have the queen. I think that my only choice, really, when the knight comes here, is just to sit on g3, controlling this, using the king to control h4. Excuse me. And there I'll just be a bishop up, and I'll have to play on from there. I'll have a bad king position, but I'll have to use my material advantage to take it from there. So here goes. All right. And again, this comes in handy. I mentioned this earlier, this to kick that queen away from any discovered attacks. Yeah, we have to get, because we're going to have to get rid of any discovered attack. So say we just sit here. Our flight square on h2 is covered by this knight. Well, it won't matter, but we'll have some nasty discovered attacks with knight to e5 targeting our queen. So that's no good. So we have to end that. So if we have that knight to e5 operation with our pawn on f4, it stops it immediately. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. And the engine says it said we were only up 1.6, but yeah, 2.5. So clearly winning, doing good. And this is my last one. I have to go to bed. Okay. So what do we have here? All right. We have this battery barreling down here on the queen. We have this discovered attack. Oh, this is good. All right. This discovered attack here, and then this comes with check as well. So when the knight comes to here. So we have this knight move, this knight operation, where we go knight to f4 takes. Then we have knight takes on e2 with check. King will probably come here. And then we can recapture, and we are up the exchange. Let's see. What if we go here and, yeah, if the queen doesn't do anything, we take. So this seems to be the way to go. No. Oh. All right. All right. What am I missing here? So knight to f4. I guess queen doesn't have to recapture. But if the queen doesn't recapture, then queen takes queen. What am I? Should I have looked at the? Is there any reason why it's the same operation? Because this move will go there. So I'm assuming that's what we would need to do, just based off the fact that I failed this puzzle. But I'm not sure why. It's always good to try and figure it out before you view the solution. So what is it about this move to f4 that's superior to knight to c3? Why would that be the case? Oh, that's because we would win the queen with, well, let's take a look. So, okay. What about knight? No, that doesn't work. So let's see. Let's see why this is the best move. Let's take a look. What is wrong? Knight f4. Oh, we have this blocking move. Okay. So why can't they do that? Why can't they use that same operation here? No, because we have the attack on the queen. All right, well, clearly I'm tired, but so good session. All right. All right. Oh.